I thank the member for Kingston. The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Wannon.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it is indeed a privilege to get up here and support this motion and follow on from all the previous speakers who have also spoke so eloquently on this private member's business. I think as the final speaker, it is worth reminding the House what this motion is about. It asks the House to move that we express concern at the detention in Egypt of Australian citizen Peter Greste. It notes that Mr Greste is detained and currently on trial solely for conducting his role as a journalist and for peacefully expressing his opinion on events in Egypt. And the imprisonment of Peter Greste is contrary to the right to freedom of speech and expression, recognises that the Prime Minister, Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Attorney-General have all been in contact with their Egyptian counterparts seeking Peter Greste's release, and notes that the Australian government is offering all possible consular assistance to Peter Greste and his family, has been working with Egyptian authorities at all appropriate opportunities, and is making direct and high-level representation to a number of other governments as part of a multi-pronged strategy to raise our ongoing concerns about the case. Mr Deputy Speaker, representations have been made by the Australian government on behalf of Peter Greste, and can I commend the Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop, for the job she has done in advocating for the release of Peter Greste. She has obviously made contacts with the new Egyptian Foreign Minister, but was also very active with making contact with the previous interim administration. The Prime Minister also has obviously over the weekend spoken with Egypt's new president, and in a very good development over the weekend, we also saw the US Secretary of State, John Kerry, make a special trip to Cairo, and in a very important move, I thought, from a US Secretary of State, highlighted to the Egyptians in a press conference of the need for the Egyptians to uphold press freedom. And this motion here today goes to that very fundamental principle, the importance of upholding press freedom. Our Prime Minister has led the way in highlighting this importance when he said, and I quote, "I do want to make this point and make it very strongly, a free press is in everyone's interests." The Prime Minister also has went on to say, and I think it was this morning or yesterday in a press conference on this matter, that in his view, and this is a point that he'd made to the Egyptians, that Peter Greste was reporting on, not supporting the Muslim Brotherhood when he did his reporting. And we in the House should always remember the importance of the press in the job that we do. As Thomas Jefferson put it, the third US president, so succinctly, "And were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter." And I think that sums up this debate extremely well. Freedom of the press is integral to democratic government. It goes to the core of having a proper functioning democracy. It is the surest way of maintaining trust between a government and its people. Without a strong press, no government can be adequately scrutinised or held to account. And if a government can't be scrutinised or held to account, the people that put it there will never have true confidence in that government. So this motion here today, which I support, calls for the release of Peter Greste. It is an important motion because it not only highlights what is happening to an Australian citizen in Egypt at the moment, but it reminds us all of the broader principle here, and that is the fundamental role that the press plays in ensuring that we can have proper functioning democracies.
I thank the member